One of the most important decisions we will make in our life, if not the most important decision, is who we choose as a life partner. It can make or break you. It is such an important decision that will affect everything else in your life. Your overall well-being, your happiness, how long you live, how healthy you are, the amount of fulfillment you have, the fun and adventure, having someone to stand by your side and be supportive, the raising of children if you decide to have children, how your finances are managed, how healthy you are. The list goes on and on and on of how important it is. And unfortunately, we spend more time researching buying a house or buying a car. And oftentimes we just get involved in relationships, and we've all done this, we all have a history of this, that just are not the right match, they're not fulfilling, and it creates a lot of suffering between both parties. So that's what we're going to focus on today. The things I talk about in my videos, it comes from a lot of reading, a lot of studying, and 10 years of life coaching experience. This is all I do. This is my full-time job. I eat, sleep, drink, and breathe this. So if you are interested, it is incredibly affordable. Probably about 50-60%, if not higher, more affordable than what other experienced life coaches charge. Everybody can benefit from it. There's no obligation. The consultation's free. The first session's 50% off, so you can give it a try. And then after that, the prices are extremely reasonable and it's life-changing. So I encourage everybody just to give it a try. One of the things that comes up regularly as a coaching session topic is how to navigate romantic relationships. And what happens is we get the partner that we feel that we deserve. And some people will really compromise on their principles, compromise on their values, compromise on what their priorities are in a partner for the wrong reasons. Maybe they have low self-esteem and feel like, oh, I'm never going to find anyone else, so I need to settle. A big theme is childhood, growing up in a dysfunctional family. When you grow up in a dysfunctional family and you're either bullied at school or you're bullied by your family or it was just toxic or you have a narcissistic parent, alcoholic, emotional abuse, physical abuse, all these things really are traumatizing. And unfortunately, they become normalized. So we think that's what the norm is. And so then we tend to choose partners that in a way mirror a lot of things that we experienced when we grew up. This is not always the case, but I often see this in coaching is people who've had tough upbringings tend to really lower their value and their belief in the ability of having a healthy, fulfilling relationship. And with some people, it's just they like the excitement. They like the drama of the back and forth, of the arguing or whatever. I know it seems crazy, but like someone that treats them well, either they don't feel they deserve it or it's too dull. It's crazy how our minds work. And what we want to do is what we tend to do, as I said before, we attract the person that we feel that we deserve. And if we feel that we deserve someone of high status, high value, and when I say high status, I'm not just talking about financially. I'm talking about someone who's got a good foundation under their feet, who's got their stuff together, who's got a steady job, doesn't have to be a high-paying job, who takes care of their health, who's a good communicator, who's loving, supportive, caring, person who has a good social network, has close familial relationships with their parents and their family, someone who is responsible with money, someone who's organized and follows through on what they say they're going to do, a man or woman of their word. Like all of those things raise your value in the dating market. And that's what it is. It's a marketplace. And what we bring to the table is going to determine the type of people that we attract. And a lot of the times you read in these books, or I have clients like, oh, I want to feel more confident. What can I do to feel more confident? Is there a book I can read? Are there affirmations that I can say? We talk about my past and undo, all the damage and dysfunction that happened growing up? How can I heal myself so I feel more confident? And what people want is like a quicker fix. And what I tell them is what we have to do is do the work. That's the way that we start feeling more confident, feeling better about ourselves, and attracting a higher caliber partner. And what do I mean by doing the work? Well, you have certain things that you're attracted to when you're dating or when you're looking for someone. And a lot of these things are very common that people are looking for. Maybe someone who's well-read, maybe someone who likes to travel, go hiking, adventures. Having a rich, fulfilling life apart from a partner or romantic relationship makes you tremendously more attractive. When you don't need to be in a relationship, you can be patient, you can set boundaries, you can say no, you can be choosy, you can stick to your list of top 5 or 10 qualities you're looking for in a man or woman. Your options open. When you're needy, when you're very lonely, when you're desperate, when you don't have a full, rich life, you're going to look for someone else to fill that void. And that's a recipe for disaster. And I've seen it time and time again. So the things that we can do to make ourselves more attractive is physical appearance. Well, yeah, people might say it's superficial, but it's very important, and especially in the initial connection with someone. So going to the gym, exercising, eating right, losing weight, getting tone, building muscle, whatever it is that you want to do, that will go a long way to attract a higher caliber, a higher status man or woman. The next thing is having a rich social circle. Having, like I said, friends, families, and things like that. The other thing is I have clients that struggle. Why can't I meet someone? Why can't I find anyone? And I'll ask them, what do you bring to the table? When you go out on dates, what do you talk about? What things can you share that other person would be interested in? And a lot of times, there's not much there. So it's very shallow and superficial. And what is attractive is someone that enjoys their life, has a fulfilling life, and they have hobbies. They have passions, pursuits. They enjoy their career. They enjoy learning about new things. They're expanding their mind. Those things will go a long way in meeting the right man or woman. And again, the list can go on. There's all types of things, just being, like I said, being good with money, being positive, not dredging up the past, not complaining when you go out on a date. Some clients, they'll either go out on a date with someone and they're like, oh, they talked about themselves the whole time. Being interested in another person, genuinely interested, goes a long way. Being a good listener. And when you're talking with someone, they'll tell me when they were talking on the date that the person would complain about their exes or complain about politics or complain about just heavy stuff. And it really is like repellent. And the other thing is being a challenge. Now, some of my clients, when we're working on dating, they'll go, oh, I don't want to play games. If I like the man or woman, I'm going to call them, right away. Or I'm going to text them right away. I'm going to let them know I can't wait to see them. And it's good to be open, but just be patient. Be patient and get to know them. One of the biggest red flags I tell my clients is be aware of the man or woman that rushes into higher levels of intimacy. That you're talking, after a couple weeks, you're talking about your future, a month, you're talking about your future, or the first couple weeks you're going out 2, 3, 4 times a week, or you're texting each other all the time, take your foot off the gas pedal. Be patient. Don't rush physical intimacy. First 3 dates should be no physical touching, no kissing, no touching. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack in the comments and people disagree with me, but it allows you to get to know the person and build a deeper connections, because when you rush physical intimacy, our brain releases endorphins, oxytocin, releases feel-good chemicals. And those chemicals cloud how we see the other person. So what happens is we minimize their faults and flaws, and we see them higher or better than they really are, because we're high on our own brain chemicals. And that will lead to trouble. So just take it really slow. Your first date should not be on a Friday or Saturday night. Like, that is something a little bit more intimate, a little bit more romantic. Start slow. Hey, we'll meet for lunch, on a Saturday day. Keep the first date short. Being patient, all of these things demonstrate to the person that you're seeking out that you have high value. When something is too available, too easy to get, too needy, even with a touch of pressure, like, oh, when can I see you again? It's a turnoff. It's not an attractive quality. It sends a message to the person you're dating that you're a little bit desperate or a lot desperate. And you need someone, again, to fill that void. So when you are in a place that you have a solid foundation, you got your life together, you don't need to be perfect, but you've got a full, rich, fulfilling life, you'll see how many more people you will attract. The other thing I notice is the dating profiles. We'll go over with my clients and we'll review their dating profiles and polish it up. You want to make your dating profile pop. You want it to have some pizzazz. You want to be able also have it act as a filter to weed out the people that you're not interested in. And that could be a whole video in itself. But it's really important to have attractive pictures there and to not say something on your profile that is just like everybody else. The typical profile. Oh, I like traveling. I like comedy, romantic comedies, whatever it is. You want to show, not tell, and you want to be unique and distinct, and you want to be honest, because nothing is worse than showing up on a date and the person in their profile doesn't match the person that you see, or they lied or distorted the truth. Trust is just so important, and it's the glue that keeps a relationship together. The other thing you want to do to attract a higher caliber partner, higher status partner, is work on your communication skills. Read books on communication like Influence or How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's a whole plethora of books out there that you can utilize to work on your communication skills. Another one, a little bit controversial, I wouldn't recommend this for everyone, Radical Honesty. But what you want to do is be a good communicator. Now with technology, and we spend so much time in front of screens, on our phones, on the computers, watching Netflix, communication and socialization is like a muscle. You don't use it, it's going to wither. And we don't use it enough because we're so immersed in staring at black mirrors or staring at screens. And that also will go a long way in being able to connect with someone and show, hey, I have something unique to bring to the table. I've worked on myself, I've worked on my growth, and I've worked on my communication skills so that you're able to be honest when you're on the date. Now, when I say honest, you don't have to be an open book, but honest people are more trustworthy, and honest people will say things that the other person might disapprove of. Because what we do when we're dating someone and it's like the honeymoon period, the first month, we put on a mask. And the mask is not authentic to who we are, but what we think will get the person to like us. And especially with some of my male clients, that they'll fall into the nice guy trap, the people pleasing. The girls say, oh, I like to go to an Italian restaurant. And the guy goes, yeah, Italian's fine. And he hates Italian. And we just want to have a little bit of tension, a little bit of friction when you are dating someone so that they can see you're not just going to say what you think they want to hear for approval, but you're going to be honest. You're going to express your opinion. You're going to be able to disagree, not in an argumentative manner, but in a manner that creates a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of a dance, and not just, roll over like a dog with your neck and stomach exposed. Being confident. And so doing all of these things allows you to be more confident. The other thing is I have clients that don't date because they're so fearful of rejection. And that goes back to not having a solid foundation. When you don't have a solid foundation and a rich, fulfilling life, you will take rejection like a arrow to the heart much more strongly than someone says, hey, I have a rich, fulfilling life with friends, family, hobbies, I exercise, I play sports, whatever it is. You will be able to be much more resilient, because if that person rejects you, you're like landing on a pillow bed. You're not going to be devastated as someone who doesn't have that. And rejection is part of the game. It's part of the process. When you embrace that, hey, I might need to contact 100 people. And of those 100 people, maybe 10 will actually develop into, like, let's say a text or video chatting, or the communication will be continuing. And of those 10, maybe 5 you'll set up a date. And of those 5, maybe 2 you really like, and they really like you. It is a numbers game. And I'll get clients that will be devastated because they got ghosted, or they went out on a date and the girl didn't respond that's ghosting, didn't respond to their text, or when they're chatting with the girl on one of these apps, suddenly she or he goes quiet, and it's like, oh my God, dating's horrible. Nobody loves me, nobody likes me, nobody wants to be with me. I'm like, no, that's part of the process. You are going to get rejected. The key thing is, I even recommend just writing it down after you go out on a date. Hey, what went well on the date? What areas can I improve upon? And be a student of this challenge that you set out for yourself in finding a partner. Learn, grow. You're going to make tons of mistakes. If you haven't been out on the market and haven't been dating for a while, you are going to have a lot of bad dates. It's just the way things go. If I haven't practiced tennis in 10 years, 15 years, I'm going to suck in the beginning. But you'll get better and better. And it's the more you do it, the better you'll get, just like anything. Speaking a language, learning a musical instrument. So be gentle with yourself, and we don't want to personalize it. It's not personal. Well, yeah, it's personal that you're not the match, but that the person rejected you. Okay, you're not their type. But not everybody is everybody's type. Just like even a great movie. I've seen some movies that are absolutely incredible, and I'll share it with another person. I'll go, I didn't think it was that great. Or it wins an Academy Award. And I go, oh my God, that won an Academy Award? How is it? Or Cars. There's everybody has different tastes. You're just not their type. That's okay, and be thankful you found out early on in the dating process. So, really important, the kind of theme of this is know your value and don't date out of your league. It really will set you up for a lot of heartache. And what do I mean by that? Some people are either low status, maybe they don't have a high-paying job, or maybe they're not that attractive, or maybe they don't have a rich, fulfilling life, and they want to date, 8, 9s, and 10s. And sometimes they'll even catch an 8, 9, or 10. They'll go out on a few dates, or they'll get in a relationship. And when you have an imbalance of power in a relationship, one person becomes more dominant. One person can become more abusive. One person can become more demanding. One person can be very dismissive if you express, hey, I have these needs and wants. And they're like, I don't care. You're not going anywhere. I'm the one, who holds all the cards. And so just try to have parity in the partners that you choose. And that goes the same way on the lower scale. Don't date people below your status or your value. We just so easily settle on that side of the scale as well. Know what your value is, and then choose a partner that falls within that range. And you'll be much, much happier. If the partner you're on here and you tell there's parity, there's equality, and you tell your partner something, someone that you're dating or someone that you're in a relationship with, they're like, oh, okay. You say, I'm upset about this. We don't communicate, or we don't go out enough, or whatever it is. And the person will be, okay, I want to address that. I want you to be happy. And that's the most important thing. When you're looking for a person, one of the things that clients really mess up is they focus on the external. And those externals are important. And they're like, oh, we don't have a lot in common. We have a lot of differences. We don't think alike. He's Republican, I'm Democrat. I'm like, that's not what's most important. What's most important is a person's core. When a person has a solid core, they're honest, they're loving, they're a good communicator, they treat people well, they're generous, they're sensitive, they're empathetic, they're a good listener, they do what they say they're going to do, they're a man or woman of their word. Those things go so much longer and will get you relationship success than finding someone, oh, I like tennis and I can only date another person that likes tennis as well. So be a little bit flexible and be less rigid on, oh, the person has to do this, that, and the other. Obviously, there are some deal breakers. Maybe if they have kids or they're smoking, okay. But really, you want someone that's got your back. You want someone that you could feel like you're part of a team. And I know people, you read in books, psychologists and therapists that say, you got to work on your relationship. I mean, I work all day. I don't want to come home and have to now do more work on my relationship. Now, yeah, there are things you have to do to build a close relationship, but it shouldn't feel like work. It should feel just like a natural connection. And I'm not saying soulmate. I don't believe in all this soulmate. There's only one person in whatever, 7.5 billion people in the world for you. No, just it clicks and you'll know it. And you want to not ignore your red flags. You'll be dating someone and red flags will pop up. Oh God, I don't know this. That this person is really complaining and being very negative and blaming their ex about everything. I'm like, oh boy, could I be next? They're not taking responsibility, or they're more of a victim, or they're not very motivated, or they're very passive in life, or they don't take care of their health, or they treat people poorly. There's a lot of red flags that we delude ourselves. We fool ourselves into thinking, oh, they're going to change. Things will get better in the future. No, they won't. On a rare occasion, they might, but you know how hard it is to change yourself. Imagine trying to change someone who's not motivated. So date the person only if they're the person you want to be with as they are. Don't hold out this hope and wishful thinking that they're going to suddenly, if you date them and you're together and you become boyfriend and girlfriend, they'll magically change. I can't tell you how much suffering, how many broken hearts, how many divorces have succumbed to this delusional thinking. Find the person and accept them and love them as they are. And if you can't do that, move on to the next possibility. If you keep yourself out there, don't just stick to the dating apps. Have some hobbies, go on meetups, ask friends to set you up, and really put yourself in environments where you're going to attract and meet people. And hey, maybe you have a similar interest because you're both taking a cooking class together, and that's a great starter. You'll have a lot more success, in my opinion, meeting people face to face than the dating apps. I'm not saying not doing dating apps, but it should be balanced between the two, because a lot of people will reject you on a dating app because there's so many other options. They don't know you. They can't read you, and they'll more easily reject you on a dating app. And if you met that same person in the real world, they'd probably be a lot more open to meeting you. And then another thing is challenge yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. Hey, if you're at the grocery store, you're at the bookstore, you're at the library, you're walking down the street, you're in the subway, talk to the person. If you say, hey, this person's really, really attractive, or this person looks really interesting, or I like the book they're reading, make a conversation and apply the 5-second rule. Just take 5 seconds and then go approach the person. Doesn't matter what you say. You could totally bungle it, and that's okay. Just go, introduce yourself. It could be as simple like, hey, you looked really interesting. I wanted to meet you. My name's Steve. Take chances. I had a friend, and she told me that she was on the train and the subway, and there was a really good-looking guy who was all alone, and she wanted to talk to him, and she felt so drawn to him, but she was so scared and so nervous, and she was trying to muster up the courage and energy to go talk to him, and she never did. And he got off at a different stop. And it was like 5 years after that happened, and she was still thinking about it, like, oh my God, I wonder what would happen if I would have talked to him. Now, the chances are, probably wouldn't have worked out, but you don't want to live a life of regret. You have nothing to lose by stretching out of your comfort zone and getting rejected. Get rejected as much as possible. You become immune to it the more you do it. It really sets you free. Doing things that make us uncomfortable, moving towards the things that we fear. That's how we evolve as human beings, not sitting at home, staring at a screen, being within our comfort zone. We evolve and grow through challenging life experience, and that's what builds confidence. That's what makes us feel good about ourselves, and that's what draws other people towards us. Thank you very much for listening. Again, if you'd like very affordable coaching, pretty much everybody can afford this because my prices are very reasonable. I wanted to make it affordable. Send me an email, and if you want to support the channel, my PayPal link is in the description. And I'd love to hear your life experiences in dating. And if you have any advice for people that are watching and tuning into this channel, please put that in the comments. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.